guys think the next one's going in. And with Ethan, I think the next one's going in. So that's the least of my worries.
Yeah, tell us why you picked Ethan on those shots. I mean, was he the guy that you thought would be open, or you got his confidence in his shot, or what?
You know, the second one was it was a broken play after the free throw in transition. We didn't have any timeouts left, and honestly, I thought they were probably going to foul us, and I think they were trying to foul us, and that's maybe why Ethan got loose. So that was just a transition situation. We had 6 seconds to try to get a 3 off. The first one, obviously Doug had the hot hand, and they were going to go to Doug. So we used Doug as a screener, and Doug set a great screen, got Ethan loose in the corner, and Ethan has a higher release than Doug, and my feeling was even if he was guarded, he could get a shot off and give us a chance for the tie. In those situations, you want to make sure you get a shot, and not only we get a shot, we get a very good shot.
He's one of the best three-point shooters in the country, and how much confidence you got in Ethan to go back to him again with something like that?
100% confidence. I mean, he's the top. He's got more threes than anybody in the conference, and we got him a wide open 3 to tie the game. So our guys executed what we wanted to have executed, and Ethan knows that if that situation arises, we've got several plays we can run in that situation, but he's going to be on the floor.
What was the most frustrating part of Bill's game, Bill's performance?
That we lost. There's a lot of things that go into that. When you lose a one-possession game, you can point to 100 different things that you could have done different. Being late, hedging on a screen here, missing a block out there, missing a layup, being a little late delivering a pass that would have led to an easy shot. So you can point to a lot of things, and those seem to show up a little bit more when you lose than they do when you win. At least I think probably guys, young people, learn from it a little bit more in a loss. But the physicality on the backboards, we probably didn't match theirs. That was probably the number one point. We gave ourselves a chance to tie the game and get it to overtime, and there's something to be said for that when we didn't play our best basketball.
Is that a good rule, that elbow rule?
I don't know if it's a good rule. It's a rule right now, and the coaches voted it in. So I guess I'm part of the problem in that regard. There's been some situations where there's been some flagrant elbows in the past, and I think that's where guys have had season-ending injuries because of a flagrant elbow, and I think that's why it was probably put in. Certainly Grant's wasn't intentional, but the rule's the rule, and it was certainly a tough time for that to happen.
Coach, after the game, you said this team needs to get tougher, especially on the road. What do you mean by that?
I just think we have to take the next step. I thought maybe the environment at times probably kept us from focusing to the level that we needed to focus. Now it's hard because it's so loud you can't communicate. I can't communicate with them because they can't hear me from the sideline. They have a hard time communicating with each other unless they're right next to each other because of the noise. So you've got to figure out a way to overcome that. And that was as good of an environment as we've played in since probably since we played at San Diego State last year. But we came up one possession short, and we've got to figure out a way to clean up a couple possessions. We gave them 5 points on out-of-bounds plays. That's something we pride ourselves in, and not letting the other team score in those situations. And the way it turned out, those 5 points were enough for us to lose the game.
You even talked about after that first loss, there was more of a attention to detail. You kind of mentioned some things.
I think you could always improve with that, whether you're winning or losing. But like I said, young people have a tendency maybe to respond a little bit better when the chips are down. We won 11 straight. Everybody was telling them how great they are. Today I'm going to tell them they're not so great.
Hey, talk about Drake. You handled him pretty easily here at home, but going on the road's a different story. Talk about that.
Yeah, we'll see a much different team than the one we saw in Omaha a couple of weeks ago. They had played really good basketball leading up to yesterday when they lost big in Northern Iowa, but they beat Evansville at home. They went to Illinois State and won, and got back to shooting the basketball the way they were earlier in the year. So, they're always a threat because they put 4 shooters on the floor most of the game, and then they have Seth Van East inside, who's a threat to score inside. So I think the start of the game will be important for us, and that we get our tempo going at the level that we want to. I never felt we were able to establish tempo in Wichita on Saturday, and we need to try to have that happen on Wednesday.